Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So one of you had asked me to show an example of how the soil tends to look like and how the texture looks after watering and after it starts to dry. Probably it might not dry so fast. It's going to take at least 2 days for it to dry, but I thought I will give you an idea of how I tend to put the soil into the pot, and when I water, how quick the water tends to run out. And I will take out a little bit of the soil post watering and show you how loose and porous the soil tends to look like. So this is the soil mix. Now it does have a little bit of activated charcoal. So you might happen to see these black grains. These are activated charcoal. The white ones are pumice. Then you have a little bit of mountain soil, sand and garden soil. So I'll take the soil and I'll put it into the pot. Always I tend to use a very small pot. This is around 7 centimeter depth of a pot. So you can see when I'm putting the soil into the pot how free flowing and how loose the soil is. So this is how the soil is supposed to stay or be. So we will fill it up. Now I think this is a very good example because I don't have a succulent in this, so I can show you when I tend to water how the soil tends to look like. So sorry, I'm being a little clumsy and it is very windy, so there's a lot of soil that is going to fly off everywhere because it's quite windy. So here we go, we have our soil in the pot. I'm going to water it and show it to you. So now I will water the soil and you'll be able to see the moment I start watering it, the water immediately will start to pass through the drain hole. You can see that it's already coming out of the drain hole. But you don't need to be worried because the soil is going to stay moist enough for the succulent to have a quick drink. It's not going to be soggy wet. It will drain out all the excess water, keeping the soil slightly moist and giving enough time for the succulent to absorb that water. The soil is very loose, it's very porous, so it becomes very easy for the roots to navigate inside and move around and start to grow without getting compact, and hence this soil mix tends to work out really well. I'll show you once again. So I'm going to water it. And you can see the water is going to quickly flow out. So that's how the soil mix is. And now if I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to show you the soil, the texture of the soil, even after I have watered it, you can see how loose it is. It's just wet, but it's not soggy wet. So because of the garden soil, because of the sand, it tends to retain a little bit of moisture, just right enough for a succulent to have a quick drink, and all the excess water tends to flow off. And this, as I said this earlier as well, succulents, as soon as the water comes in contact with the soil, they immediately get into action and start absorbing that water, and they don't need the moisture for a very long time in the soil. So you can see this is how the soil tends to look like. If I'm going to try and press it, you can see it is still going to crumble and fall. Let me take some more. Let me try and crush it. And you can see it is not compact. It will just start to fall apart. So this is the kind of soil mix that you need to make in order for your succulents. Again, if I'm going to water it, immediately the water will start to flow out. You can see this. All the excess water is going to flow out. Now, as I said, it is going to take some while. You can see there are stains. This is the garden soil. That is the brown stains that you can see. That's from the garden soil. So that's why I tend to use only 20% of the filtered garden soil, because my garden soil can get very compact. That's why I prefer to use only 20% of it, so that my soil mix can still be very loose and porous. So you can see the texture, very, very loose. This is exactly the type of soil mix that you need for your succulent. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it out in sun. I don't know how long will it take to dry. Probably the upper layer of soil will at least get dried out. So I'm just going to keep it over here for some time. So guys, as you can see, the upper layer of soil is already dry. You can see this. Not completely, probably an inch of upper layer of soil is already dry. And you can see the pot has also absorbed the entire moisture from the soil. You can see it's become more darker compared to what it was earlier. So of course right now there is no succulent, otherwise the succulent would have also absorbed that moisture. The pot will also absorb that moisture, and because there is a good amount of air circulation and there is morning direct sunlight, the soil will also tend to dry faster. Now within a couple of hours you can see around 1 inch of the upper layer of soil was dry. If I would have done this experiment early in the morning at around 8, probably by now 40% of the soil would have got dried out. Probably by tomorrow 60% of the soil is going to be dry, and on the third day it is going to be completely bone dry. So this is how it tends to work out, and after drying as well you can see the soil is very loose, very porous. You can see this, it just crumbles and falls apart. So this is the type of soil mix that you need to have for your succulents: very loose, porous and well draining. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.